So I wanted to, for this assignment, I wanted to talk about counseling for African Americans. This is especially important for me because even though I consider myself Black and I am Black, my experience with somebody who's always lived here in the United States is a little bit different. So the way we will approach counseling or we might our experience in the counseling field as a professional and also as client will be different. So I just wanted to talk about how counseling affect African American community. So first, we need to talk about the importance of African American to multicultural counseling. Um, First, we have to understand the history of African American in the United States. We know that historical trauma and racial discrimination among African American is very important information to know. This trauma continue even till now. We see that in our community. Many people still have that stigma of not trusting white people or authority figure because of all the things that they've experienced before. The second point is also you have to take into account the educational and economic disparity in the African American community. Um, Unfortunately, African American community, most of these communities are or poor, they don't get the same help and privilege that other community might benefit when it comes to education um, or even job opportunities. And all these things can contribute to mental health and just di disparity overall against that community. And also the third point that I wanted to mention is the need for representation of African American in the counseling field. Most of the research that I've done have shown that most professional in the counseling fields are white male. This is not a representation of the society we live in. So not only we need more representation for African American, we also need more representation for all communities. Um, and and I also think that when people have tendency to trust people who look like them or have similar experience, so when they do see people, somebody who's look like them, they feel more comfortable and more open um, to getting help. So the essential element of counseling African Americans. So one of the elements is to practice cultural competence through ongoing education. This is really important for all professional. Understanding what community you're working with is crucial because we cannot provide effective counseling if you don't really understand the background of what that person has lived. Um, Also acknowledge and address personal biases and assumption. This is actually a very important point because we live in a society where we all have biases, we all have stereotype, and being able to recognize that and work on it is very important. It's not something that nobody should be ashamed of because we all do have it, but it's our responsibility as professional to work on it. And the other thing is to recognizing and addressing economic and social barriers to mental health care. As I said earlier, African American community have they don't get as many privilege and opportunity as other community. And for that matter, they're less likely to go see a professional when they do need help. So as professional, we do need to take that into account. For example, I'm just gonna give an example. If you have a client who, let's say, might not be able to come to your office 5 days a week, You can just arrange something instead of 5 days, maybe 3 days or something like that, because they might not have the means to get to the office to see you, or even just do telehealth. Um, just do session online if it's possible. But just think about all these different things that you can do to help. Um, Also build trust through authenticity, respect, and cultural awareness. So again, when the client knows that you're really respectful of their culture and you understand where they come from, you understand their history, you really build that trust, and they can open up more and hopefully lead to better counseling um, session. So I do, for the most part, I do agree with the author about the African American experience in this book. And the part that I specifically appreciate is the resilience. Where do African American get their strength and resilience from? And this is actually something that I always wonder. I'm just amazed at, I mean, when you look at the history of African American, to see that even till now, they still feel discrimination, injustice, but they still have that strength, that mentality to always go on and never give up. And one of the reason, as the book stated, is the family and community. Family is very important in the African community, African American community. And it's just the whole extended family, even neighbor. We have that close relationship, which is very important. Religion and spirituality, religion is very important for African Americans. Um, and many studies have shown that actually spirituality and religion have been really helpful in the counseling field as well. Resourcefulness. So African American, they always find a way, to help each other, to come up with ways to build themselves as a community. Um, and the last thing is racial pride. This is something we've been seeing a lot lately, where you see people really coming together. You see organization like Girl Pride, Black Girl Magics, where they're promoting, just being Black, being proud of who we are as a as Black people. Um, so conclusion, so just counselor must understand the culture and history of African American. Counselor have a responsibility to be culturally competent and sensitive, increasing diversity in the counseling field to ensure all voices are here. This is important. Not only that we, as counselor, we have to understand who we're working with, but I think society overall need to provide access for education for everybody, so that not only white male, but everybody can be represented in the counseling field as professional counselors. African American have demonstrated remarkable strength and resilience through various means, which is something that I spoke to earlier. Um, so overall, the point that I wanted to make at the end of this presentation is that it's our responsibility to understand all culture, to be sensitive, to show empathy, and to really, there's no excuse of saying, I don't know, I didn't understand. It's our responsibility to know, to understand where each one of us come from, what is our history, and this is more important even now than ever. So thank you for listening to my presentation.